Good evening, class. In a state of depression, as well as other possible mental disorders, pilot Andreas Lubitz drove a plane of 150 innocent passengers deliberately to their deaths, landing amidst the Alps. While this is a dramatic story, it is not at all an uncommon thing to see suicide paired with depression. In this case, he simply took the lives of others along with himself. According to the Depression and Bipolar Support Alliance, around 14.8 million people in America alone suffer from depression every year. I am one of those people, and likely someone you know or you yourself have also struggled with depression. In my college career, this is a topic that I've studied for quite a while. It is a part of my main program, and in my future occupation as a therapist, it's something I very much hope to help people with. Today I'm going to share with you 3 aspects of depression: the symptoms, causes, as well as the treatments that we've slowly come to find. Let's begin with the symptoms. First, there are the physical symptoms. There's a loss of interest in activities, lethargy, change in appetite, sleep patterns. There's an inability to concentrate, as well as unexplained aches and pains. These are a lot of symptoms that I've witnessed both in myself as well as in family members who have struggled with depression. The emotional symptoms are prolonged sadness, extreme anger, worry, anxiety. Many people, like myself, who suffer with depression also suffer from some sort of anxiety disorder. There's pessimism, indifference, guilt, worthlessness, and as we noticed, there are many thoughts of suicide, reoccurring thoughts of death. And the hope is that people don't act on these, but oftentimes people get help a bit too late. Now that we've talked about the symptoms, I would like to talk about some of the causes. Biological causes include genes. There's very much a strong indication of that family history makes you a lot more susceptible to depression. In my family, my mother, my grandmother, as well as others suffer from either depression or bipolar disorder. And so it's not extremely surprising that I also have the same mental illness and the same problems that they did. Another biological factor is a chemical imbalance within your brain. It's stored within your hippocampus, which is a place where a lot of your memories are located. But in this, there are also serotonin receptors, and in someone who's depressed, the hippocampus is a lot smaller, and therefore it either produces less serotonin or it just doesn't get through as much. And a lot of this has recently been linked to a stress hormone called cortisol, which is possibly the reason that the hippocampus is smaller than it would be in someone who isn't depressed. It has a toxic shrinking effect on this part of your body. Other possible causes are abuse, medication, such as acne medication, which has been closely linked to depression, loss and grief, which it's normal to grieve for someone that you've lost, but sometimes this spirals into something much bigger and becomes one type of depression. Major events, social isolation, serious illnesses, such as cancer or any other kind of chronic illness. A lot of times people lose hope and it becomes depression, as well as substance abuse, which is sometimes people's answer as well. Since we've talked about both symptoms and causes, I would also like to talk about the treatments. One thing that we have come to find is there's not really a cure. Sometimes if someone catches it early enough, possibly in their early teen years, taking medications can help outweigh the chemical imbalance portion of this, and it could be what some people consider to be cured. However, most people don't catch it that early, and most people have more than just a chemical imbalance. And so one treatment is therapy, which you can do individual therapy, family therapy, group therapy. There are a lot of different types of therapy out there as well. And I very strongly believe in this. It's helped me a lot. It's why I want to be a therapist. It helps you to develop appropriate and workable coping strategies versus what a lot of people turn to, such as alcohol, popping pills, self-harm, amongst other things. As I mentioned before, medication is an option to help. It's not at all something that someone should rely on by itself. It helps to balance out these chemicals. It can give you more serotonin, or there are different kinds of antidepressants that will affect different chemicals within your brain. There's also your physical health, which if you're taking care of yourself physically, will help the depression. Getting exercise, sleep, nutrition, as well as having a social support system is very important. If you're surrounding yourself with people who are going to support you, then you're a lot less likely to end up being one of those people who goes out and commits suicide, because people will know what's going on. And in my experience, a big treatment factor has been my spiritual life. In knowing God, I've gained a purpose. I have that social support system that I did not have before. And I fully believe that God can do the impossible, and that includes healing me. This isn't what some people believe, and that is completely fine. But if you are someone who's spiritual, it's something that I believe helps a lot with mental illness. So we've gone over symptoms, causes, as well as treatments. And I just want to reiterate that depression is a real problem. It's as real as cancer, and we need to treat it as such. In 2013, someone died by suicide every 12.8 minutes. That's a lot of death that could have been prevented. And so I hope that you all have learned something about depression from this, and that going away, you see it differently than you did before. Thank you.